We are live. What's up, guys? Starting casually as always. We got Guste Janus. Did I pronounce your name correctly?
Yes, Guste Janus. You got
Guste
it.
Janus.
Yes.
That's Lithuanian, right?
Lithuanian.
Cool,
Yeah,
cool. Yeah, so we got Guste joining us. I thought it would be a fun podcast. I was actually, I was debating what the best way to do this would be. My initial thought was just to invite you on, we do Monday and Friday podcasts. We have like a group of girls. We ask them about issues. I kind of felt that like you were pretty strong opinionated. And honestly, the thought process we had was that you might influence the other girls.
Shit, good. So, as I should.
Yeah. Perfect. But so we figured it would be better to just do a one-on-one interview.
Damn. All right. Fair.
That's the backstory.
That was a great thought process. I mean,
yeah, that's the backstory. So let's start off with a little quick introduction for anyone who's not familiar with you.
Hi, I'm Guste. I started a podcast because Fresh and Fit pissed me off, and that's really it. I live in Fort Lauderdale, Miami area. Not really sure what else to cover.
What do you do for work?
What do I do for work? I actually quit my job last week, but I started a new job as an executive assistant for a CFO of a company, and I'm also signed to a modeling agency in Miami.
Cool. How much do you make like a good amount of money from modeling, or is it mainly from?
Yes, I mean modeling does bring in a lot of good money, but it's very inconsistent, especially with like COVID and stuff. It's been very like it's not like a consistent job. That's why I have to work.
So you get paid per job that you do?
Yeah, and then the payments come like a month after I do the job. So yeah, it's this whole.
How much would you get paid for like a modeling shoot?
Let's see, for like maybe like 5, 6, 7 hours, it could be anywhere from like $500 to $1,000. Yeah, so if you get a couple of those in a month, like that's lit. And then if you travel like internationally, they pay for your hotel, your food, and then you get like a good like $4 or $5 grand, sometimes $10K. Yeah.
So I'll give you guys a little bit more backstory. So how I found out about Guste was first I found out about you when you did a stream with Kevin Ray Wilder, who you guys know I've done podcasts with. It was a 5-hour stream, so I only saw a small portion of it. Then initially I was a little dismissive, to be honest, just because you didn't really have a platform or channel. But then what really made me want to have you on is when I saw your debate with Donovan, actually. And I found that was a good debate, I think, on both sides, to be honest. I think that props for both of you guys for, having a respectful, intelligent discussion. I think both of you guys actually surprised me because I'll be honest, I expected both of you guys to be like a lot meaner to the other person because literally that's like, if I do like a comparison, we have Donovan here, you here, I'm probably somewhere here. Probably a little closer to here, but I'm definitely not on the same wavelength as you, but probably closer. But you guys are like pretty much the opposite ends of the spectrum. So I figured that was going to get contentious, and did, which was good. Have you noticed that Donovan has doubled down on all that, though, relationally?
What do you mean?
Like he's like now taking back he's like, oh, I wish I never debated these people, blah, blah, blah.
What? No, I didn't hear about that.
Yeah. It's
what is he saying?
I think I'm not familiar. I haven't because I don't watch all his content, but I think he got COVID and he had like a complete change of heart when he was like dying in the hospital, and then he came back and he was like, fuck this shit. Like I don't want to do any more debates with these people. Kevin Ray Wilder is a fag, like I don't know.
He said that?
He didn't say. I don't think he said fag. I think he said he's a like cloud chaser or something like that. I don't know if
that's what all their fans. You're a cloud chaser. Yeah, anyone who debates them, you're a cloud chaser.
Yeah. The cloud chaser argument.
Fuck off.
But yeah, I enjoyed that debate. So if you guys haven't seen it, I recommend check it out. What are your thoughts? Like, what's your opinion overall on that debate?
It went really well. I was expecting Donovan to be like very passive aggressive and try and like shut down my ideas and like the things I was gonna say, but he honestly was like very respectful. He let me talk. He didn't interrupt me. So I think it went really well in general. I don't agree with 98% of like what he says in his views, but the fact that he was able to sit there and like listen to me talk and like actually listen and not listen to argue, that was surprising for me. And honestly, that debate gave me a lot of respect for him.
Yeah, same. No,
it changed,
for sure.
Yeah, my heart towards
I went from zero respect to some level of respect.
Exactly. Yeah, same here.
It couldn't have gone any lower, but it did go higher.
That's what I'm saying.
Was there anything that you found that you guys sort of agreed on?
I mean, yeah, like the basics about like, like rape is wrong and like sexual assault and stuff. But other than that, no, not really. I don't really think we agreed on anything for the most part.
I'll run through. So here are kind of the things that I thought I agreed with you on. And then I probably agreed with you a little bit more than him, but there are a few things I agree with him on more. So the things I agree with you on: one, I do think that I do think a lot of rapes go underreported. I do agree with that, and the reason I say that is because I have I've been with a lot of girls and I've heard the stories from girls, so like I know
I'm glad you have
firsthand,
that perspective.
and that a lot of chicks, they don't report it. Like that is a thing. So I don't think that that's like something people make out. Actually, you said it was like 60%. I probably think it's more than 60%, to be
Oh, it
honest.
probably is. I mean,
Yeah.
how do you even,
I
count
don't
that
think you can
statistic?
really measure that. That's like a really hard thing to measure.
That's the thing. Like, out of all my girlfriends, like I know every single one of them has had a rape encounter, unfortunately, and none of them have reported anything. So, like with my circle, it seems like it's a way higher number than it really is.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think of the girls that I've been with. It's definitely not every. It's maybe like 30 to 40%, but a lot of their friends have. But anyway, so that's one thing I sort of agree with you on. I do think that the red pill community overblows how common false rape allegations are.
Yes,
I do.
100%. It's like, why are we talking about false rape allegations when we could talk about actual rape allegations and rape? Like, one is just so vast, and the other one is so literally not there.
So that's the one thing I disagree with you on. I think they're both important to talk about because it goes back to the prisoner's dilemma. So it's like if you have a choice, like let's say 9 people are guilty of murder, one person's completely innocent. You have 2 choices. One is you send 10 people to death, and then the second choice is you let 10 people go. Well, if you go with option 1, 9 guilty people go to jail and get what they deserve, but 1 innocent person gets convicted of a crime. On the flip side, you let 9 guilty people go, but 1 innocent person gets to keep their life. Which one is better? It's like hard to say. It just depends on your perspective.
Sure, I definitely agree that both need to be talked about because both of them are issues that one another face. However, if a woman is bringing up rape and stuff, there's no reason that false allegations should come into the picture whatsoever. That is a conversation that is completely separate. That if you want to talk about that, we could talk about that, but don't shut down someone talking about something really important with something that's very, very like low.
Yeah, I mean, I think you gotta look at the evidence. I do think it's like a little crass sometimes. Like,
but what is the evidence that you're telling me to look at? Because I know the evidence, and it's like less than 1%.
No, I'm not talking about statistics. I think you gotta look at the evidence. Like, for example, you mentioned that what's it called? Like, if a woman has a history of fraud, that would be the evidence that you would look at. So you wouldn't like if someone says, I've been raped, you wouldn't just be like false allegation, right? You would look at the overall picture
you
and
have
then you
to
take
do a
consideration.
background check on the woman and see.
So you would see, does the story pan out? What did it happen? Did she report it recently, or did she report it 10 years later after that person, suddenly became famous? So like that's not to say that it didn't happen, but there's like a lot of factors you have to look at.
Yes, of course, I agree.
So that part I generally agree with you more on, but I do think that both are important because I personally know someone who had a false rape allegation. Now, I can get into the whole story, but I know for a fact he didn't do it, and it destroyed his life. Like he was suicidal. He almost killed himself. Barely bounced back. Like just almost. And if you're a man and you go to jail for rape, you're basically either going to be raped, which was kind of ironic, or you're going to be killed. Like so, that's like going to jail as a rapist is like you're done.
Of course, but 98% of like false allegations, you don't actually get convicted. But yes, those effects of like mental health and like how it actually destroys a person's life is important, and like that is important to talk about.
Exactly. Yeah. So he didn't get convicted. He had a good lawyer. Fortunately, he came from money, right? So obviously, the legal justice system heavily depends on how much money you have or don't have.
Yes.
And he had money. He got the best lawyers. He it got pleaded down to a misdemeanor or something like that. And he was part of the percentage that didn't get convicted, but still like almost destroyed his life. So anyway, kind of moving on. What are some things? Oh, you're talking about training your girlfriend or training your girl. So I do think Donovan uses a poor choice of words there.
Very poor choice of words.
I think he does it for SEO reasons or just like for like shock value.
Probably.
Yeah.
I would hope so.
But I did agree with you that you can't fundamentally change another human being. So for example, if you start dating someone who has a lot of habits that you don't like, you're not going to train them out of them. It's not a matter whether it's right or wrong. It's just not possible. So you do need to find someone that meets that is pretty much has all the things you're looking for.
Yes.
At that point, you can work on some things, right? But you're not going to fundamentally change a person through like training. Like you're not going to take, for example, my dog, who's like, you can see, and make him like a fighter, right? No amount of training is going to do that. Like he's a teddy bear. He's going to be a teddy bear. So I kind of agree with you on that one. I'm trying to think what are some other points that were brought up during that debate. Is there anything that you remember? What were some other points of contention?
If I knew we were going to talk about this, I would have rewatched it because like that, there was so much in that. Like I literally practiced for that debate. I did my research. Like I made
Yeah,
sure
you
to know
definitely
my
did.
facts and shit.
You definitely had a lot more facts. What I found interesting about it was how Donovan kept skirting out when you were asking him, like, so what have you done for the?
Thank you so much. Yes, I'm glad you noticed that.
I did catch
I'm glad.
that.
Because
he was,
that his whole basis of reasoning of arguing of why he talks about this kind of thing is because like we need to talk about men's issues and men's rights. I'm like, okay, cool. I agree that this men's issues do need to be talked about because I don't see them being talked about at all. So I asked him, I was like, what do you do? Like what have you done to help men's mental health? What have you done helping false accusation survivors? Like what have you done? He's like, well, that's not important. You can go look at my channel. You can go watch. I'm like, no. I'm asking you. It's not that hard to answer a question. Like, what have you done? Couldn't answer the question. So it's bullshit. Like, he just said that just to say that.
Yeah, he danced around that question. It's pretty funny. If you guys haven't seen it, check it out. Maybe we'll link in the description. But yeah, he was dancing around that. Like
he was really trying to go every other direction but answer the question. I was like,
it's such a simple question. If you ask
simple. It's your content. You should know the best,
I know. Did you look afterwards and see if there was anything?
Oh no, of course not. I mean, before I went on the debate, I was looking through every single thing is like him, like how to train your wife, why you should have a side piece. Like it's just like one after another about just degrading women and his shitty views on women. None of them has been like tips to how to blah 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 get a girl respect. Like there's nothing that helps men there. It's just angry men all coming together and watching these videos and being angry at women together. Is my opinion personally.
Okay. I mean, I think there's probably an element of truth to that. I would expand. I think it's a lot more than that, but I do think there's that core audience of angry people.
Yes.
Who are pissed off and they're looking for an outlet for that rage.
Yes.
That's kind of like the premise of Fight Club, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Just people are pissed off.
From what I've never heard of red pill community until that whole Fresh and Fit thing happened. And personally, what I've realized, like Donovan Sharp, like Fresh and Fit, they use the red pill as like a guise to like demean and like degrade women. Like isn't red pill about seeking the truth? Like all I see them doing is talking about women poorly. Like I don't see y'all seeking no truth. It's all opinion based. It's all about their hurt from their like past trauma and stuff. Like I don't see any truth seeking at all. I don't know why they're called red pill. Like at all.
No, so I agree with the first thing you said. I don't think there's any truth seeking because if there was truth seeking, they would be much more inclined to do debates. Fresh and Fit has danced around every time I challenge them to debate. Same has Rolo. They never want to debate ever. So the only times they do debates is when girls are drunk. And I do agree with the point you made that like take the girls' cell phones away, which you can argue is for like the quality, like so people aren't on their phones. But you can just ask people to put their phones on silent. I think the tricky thing is they have their phones out, and when someone can do a live fact check. I can fact check you. You can't fact check me. I already am probably going to win the debate, even if you're a better debater than me. Because I can just fact check everything you say.
Exactly.
So I do think they like try to sneakily stack all these odds in their favor, which is just intellectually disgenuine.
And that's how like all these little things line up. Number one, they're sexist as fuck because they made all the girls not only give their phones away, put it in a basket. Like we're in second grade. And then here we have their special guest, Ronnie J, and his other homeboy, like sitting there like, looking at their phones. I'm like, okay, so we're just not going to call out them being disrespectful, but us girls have to put our phones in a basket. Like, you're fucking kidding, right? Like, that's just so ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a significant double standard there.
Yeah. Like, ladies, please don't get too drunk. Don't get too drunk. I'm like, then why are y'all offering alcohol? Like, I don't understand, like, what's going on here.
I do think, though, that Fresh and Fit is more... Like, I think you can say whatever you want about Myron, but one thing we can all agree on, he's a fairly smart guy. Like, you have to be to get to Northeastern. Like, that's a good school. I went to BU. That was, like, our competition. I know that school is, like...
He's smart.
He's smart.
He's smart.
I think what he to him, the none of this shit, like, really matters. He's all about the views and the money coming in. And he's realizing if he makes controversial content, where especially if a girl gets kicked out, that's going to get more views, which is going to result in more money. I think everything else comes in second place.
I totally agree because once I started doing research on his background and I was like, oh, like he worked for like the Homeland Department of Security, like this is like a big deal, like, and I was looking, he was on the rowing team and I was doing all this research and I was like, there's no way he like believes what he's saying. Like he's he knows what he's doing. He's a smart marketing, like he knows how to make money. Like that's what it is. He started this, he sees the money coming in, and he's just going with it.
Right.
Personally, that's what I think.
I think some element of it he believes.
Yeah, of course, I agree too.
Because I actually did know him before Fresh and Fit was even created.
Really?
Yeah. He was. Who
was he?
Basically, exactly what you would expect, just a little bit less ego.
Makes sense.
He wasn't different. I mean, actually, I think he's a fairly nice guy. Like outside of like, at least he was back then. Like I never had any like, I personally didn't really vibe with him super well, so he never became my close friend. But I consider him like an acquaintance. Like we were friendly, for sure. Yeah, I just don't think we had that much in common, so we never became close. But yeah, I mean, he was a nice guy. Like I have nothing bad to say about him personally.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, as Fresh and Fit became popular, I did see like a lot of like cracks in the wall, so as to speak.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it was interesting. What was when you were on there? You left by yourself, right?
I came with my sister actually. Okay. Yeah. So it was getting really late. It was like 1:30 in the morning, and I look at my sister who's across the table, and I go like this to her, 3-0, like let's leave in 30 because like we had work in the morning. And then eventually, after like 20 to 30 minutes, the conversation started to get really triggering for me, and like my sister could tell immediately. I was like shaking, like we were talking about rape, of course, and like Myron was just being such an asshole. So my sister took the initiative and she took her headphones off and she's like, peace, I'm out. And I was like, great idea, peace, I'm out. And then we voluntarily got up to leave. And Myron made this whole scene like recording with his phone. I'm like, bro, like I'm literally just putting on my shoes. Like and he's like, you can't fuck up my shit. Like I have you on video. I'm like, bro, no one's here to fuck up your shit. It's getting late and like I'm going home. Didn't understand that concept, kept recording. And then afterwards I was like, thank you so much for the opportunity to be here. It was a pleasure. Hope you have a great rest of your night. And I walked out and he just slammed the door in our faces. And that's my villain origin story. That is when I got pissed. I was like, after all the respect, like I was so nice and like he slammed the door in my face. Like I was like, okay, but next day, bought my fucking camera, bought my podcast, and I was like, time to roast him. Like that's it.
Do you feel like there's like a combative vibe in the show?
Oh my God, yes. Like as soon as you walk into the door, you are disrespected. Like as soon as we walked in there, it was disrespect. Aaron, their producer, whatever, he comes up to all the girls and he's like, we have to sign these waivers. And none of these girls are reading the waivers. They're just signing shit. I'm like, no. So I'm reading like whatever. He's like, everyone needs to put the papers in my hands. If it's not in my hands, like da-da-da-da-da. Like every paper needs to go in my hands. Like he wanted to be a third grade teacher so bad. Like go be that, you know? But one girl forgot to put the paper in his hands. She left it on the table, God forbid. And he made this whole fiasco, like already like disrespecting the rules, like y'all can't listen, like all this stuff. And I was like, bro, what? Like over a piece of paper?
Yeah, my whole thing is like I've had guests on who I liked. I've had guests on who I was meh about. But like if you're a guest in my house and like in my podcast, I am gonna try to be nice and respectful to you.
You would think.
So that to me was always like crazy because they like talk about respect so much, but like just there's a huge level of disrespect.
So
that is apparent if you're watching, but I can imagine if you're there. But it is what it is. They have their own show. They can do whatever the fuck they want.
Yeah, I mean, I guess like the thing is they don't even let any of the girls talk. Like it's let them going on a rant for 20-30 minutes. And as soon as you say something, they're like, no, like shut up. Like you're wrong. And I'm like, what? Okay.
Yeah. It's interesting. All right, so I want to get through some like topics I wrote down that I think would be interesting to discuss. Okay, I think I don't know why this is first on my list, but let's get into it. Are you familiar with AskNelly?
No.
Oh, you're not. Okay, this is gonna make this question harder.
No, it's okay.
What? Okay. Well, how would you categorize yourself? Like, if you had to like introduce yourself, like my name is Guste Janus. Like I believe in this. Like,
I guess shit. I mean, the first one that comes to mind is like I'm a feminist. I guess.
Okay. What would come after that?
A creative, a creator. That's a really good question. That's like really deep, honestly.
I tend to ask those questions sometimes.
Good. Those are good questions to ask.
The reason I bring this up is I don't mind debating feminists like at all or having conversations. Like I'll have conversations with people, hardcore red pill guys who
Yeah.
I disagree with. I'll have debates with hardcore feminists. I don't even think you're a hardcore feminist. I think you're more on like this scale.
Yeah, there's like an extreme, and then there's like what it really means to be a feminist. Some people just take it completely out of hand and give us a bad name.
How would you define feminism?
Feminism, a lot of people seem to think that it equates with equality, but in reality, it's liberation. So it's just women asking to be liberated from like oppression, which we've been held for thousands and thousands of years. Women have constantly, you know, like we just got the right to, you know, buy a house and open a credit card like 40 years ago. You know what I mean? Like girls started going to school like 50, 60 years ago. We weren't allowed to go to school. Like there's all these things, and it still continues today. Just like racism is still prevalent, even though like slavery was abolished, it still happens every single day.
At what point though do you draw the line and say like we're free from oppression? Like, how do you make that determination?
Once I can walk to Publix without being sexually harassed, once the statistics of rape and sexual assault are not nearly as high as they are right now, because those numbers are staggering, and it's actually very, very disheartening to see. And I should, out of all my friends, all my girlfriends who sit here, it shouldn't be every single person has a story to tell. Because if I sit with a large group of men here, I know maybe 1 out of 10 would have a story to tell about them being sexually harassed. So it's clearly a really big problem that has to be fixed.
Yeah. Well, I do think that, yeah, I mean, sexual assault obviously is fucked up. That should not happen. I do think in terms of like you walking to Publix and not being harassed, that will never change just because you're a pretty girl. Like,
but that's the thing.
Like you, there will always be guys who want to come and talk to you.
There's a difference between harassment and coming up to talk to me. You know what I mean? Like it can be like, oh, hey, you're beautiful, and like continue carrying on. But like continuing to follow me and like maybe touch me and then like just invasive shit, like there's a clear line that I guess a lot of guys don't seem to comprehend, and that is harassment.
How often does that happen?
Pretty often, honestly. When
like
you go
dudes
to
are just
club,
like touching you and shit.
No, yeah, you're in the club and like suddenly guys think that in order to move past you, they need to grab your whole ass and like move you to the side. Like I don't see guys doing that to guys when they need to move past them in the club. Like I don't see y'all doing that.
You haven't been to gay clubs yet.
I have. I go to drag shows. I go to gay clubs. Those are the friendliest places to go. I feel so safe whenever I'm in those environments versus a straight club. And there's actually been, I've been seeing so much content about women like who have been drugged via needle, like injection in the club. And I was like, what? Like this is starting to happen? Like that's so fucking scary. Like not only do we have to watch our drinks, but now we have to watch for needles. Like what the hell? It's a crazy reality that women have to live in. It's actually insane.
Yeah, I mean, if you go to Colombia, though, I would say that a man has to be more careful with that because there's more incidents in like Colombia of men having being drugged and all that shit.
Yeah,
but yeah, like in the U.S., I get. I would say, okay, so if we make feminism about equality, like a girl should have the same rights as a man, I would be all for that, right? Like I do think that women should make the same amount of money, and like have all the same rights and whatever.
Being a feminist.
But what I do have a problem with is when you demand equality of outcomes. So, for example, or let's say like engineering is notoriously a sausage fest, right? It's like 90%. I had my ex-girlfriend was an engineer, so in our BU engineering schools, like 90% dudes, 10% girls, right?
Yes.
So I do think that a girl should have the same chance of getting into engineering school as a guy.
Yes.
But what I do have a problem with is if that engineering school says, whoa, we're 90% guys. Let's keep it 50% guys and 50% girls. And then those girls, those guys get penalized and then those girls get no.
That's not a thing. That doesn't happen.
It does. So there was in Harvard, there was actually a big lawsuit with the Asian community suing Harvard because Asians were being penalized because there's a lot of Asians in Harvard because Asians are smart, I guess. So they were saying what basically Harvard was doing was penalizing Asians. So let's say you need a 2200 on SAT. If you're a white person to get into Harvard, well, Asians, they were like, oh, we're going to bump it up to 2350. And they said the standard is like so high. And then actually the Asian community was able to prove it. Like, look, like so the whole case came. So there was like a lot of shit like that does happen. So when you get into like that stuff, I mean, do you agree with me? That's where the line has to be drawn.
I totally agree. Yeah, no, you can't expect like a different outcome just because you're a woman. Like you should have equal opportunity to be in that same position, but it doesn't mean that you're guaranteed just because you're a woman and 90% are men.
Right. Okay. So,
but I think for the majority of people who consider themselves feminists, they would agree with you.
Yeah, me and my girlfriend have this debate all the time. Because she says
Love
like
her.
she's great. She says that at heart I would be considered a feminist, and I would say that I see feminism the same way I see a lot of good ideas. Okay, Republicans, right? Initially it was about lower taxes and actually initially it was about freeing the slaves and whatever, but if we go past that it was about like lower taxes and more state rights, and then somehow in the last 30 years it became about like Jesus and blocking stem cells and all this crazy shit and anti-gay rights, which it was never about. So they a cause got corrupted, and I see the same thing with feminism. Initially it was all about equality for women. Great, I'm all about 99% of guys would be like, yeah, like let's give women the same rights as men. Like no one, very few guys will disagree with that. But then I see it as like a few people on the extremes just kind of slowly twisted the movement. And I'm sure that most girls consider themselves feminists would probably be like, no, I don't agree with that. But I do see that like that movement has gone like a weird direction.
Sure, but that doesn't mean that's actually going to happen. Like, let those extremists have their views, but that doesn't mean that that's going to be the reality. Like, no one's gonna. It's already hard enough to get right, like to get women in power. So those sorts of women are not going to be in positions of power, nor are they going to have any sort of say on those kinds of important topics. I think for you, you don't consider yourself a feminist because you have a bad connotation of what feminism is, and it's the wrong definition. You look at the extremists, and you're like, that's not me. I'm not a feminist. No. But it's about equality and liberation. That's what it is. We're not asking to like fucking world domination. Like we're just asking to don't hurt us. Like literally just like let us vibe. Not that deep. Like for example, like abortion in Texas right now, like that's fucked up. There are so many women who are gonna be fucked.
What refresh me on that? I don't really follow
politics. There was an abortion ban. So after 6 weeks, it's illegal to get an abortion. And that means rape, incest. So you can be 12 years old, you can get raped, but if you're 7 weeks pregnant, you're going to go through with that pregnancy.
Yeah, I've always been extremely pro-choice because the women are going to go somewhere anyway.
Yeah, they're going to shove a coat hanger in there and then probably fucking die. So there's that, but I guess no one seems to fucking care.
Texas. But anyway, going back, because I don't want to like weir into politics.
Yeah,
I try to avoid that on my channel. Go back to like the whole AskNelly thing. So the reason I got weary of discussing or debating anyone who's a feminist is because so we have that debate, and I don't think you're AskNelly at all. I think you would probably disagree with some of the things she says, and we'll kind of find out. We'll go through like the issues, but yeah, so we have a debate. It was a good debate. We disagreed on a lot of things. That's okay. Kind of like you and Donovan, whatever. Afterwards, she texted me. She said, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Can you send me the link so I can post it? I'm like, yeah, sure. Here's the link. A few days later.
Oh, God. What happened?
I start getting DMs, nonstop DMs saying, you're a rapist. You're a horrible man.
Oh, geez.
Guess who else starts getting DMs? My girlfriend, saying that she has low self-esteem, that she shouldn't be with me.
Oh, my God.
Blah, blah, blah. And then what happens a few days later? My Instagram gets banned. So basically what happened was her side just reported my Instagram.
What the fuck did you say? You had to say some shit.
There was 2 points of contention they really took issue with. The first point of contention was that was paying for drinks. So I was saying the argument I made is that, look, a woman is like, I personally will pay for girls' drinks when I go on a date with her, just an actor, but I don't think a woman should feel entitled to having her drink paid for. Like if the guy doesn't want to do it, just like a woman say like, oh, a guy shouldn't feel entitled to sex just because we're on a date. Okay, but just because we want a date doesn't mean you should feel entitled to money. Now I will typically do it out as a good gesture, but it shouldn't feel entitled. So that was a big point of contention. Another big point of contention was when I said, I don't really give a shit about women's body count, but sometimes when I'm like cooking for the girl, I'll ask her simply because I'm curious. And they were like, you shouldn't ask her. Like, that's a personal question.
And they called you a rapist for that?
Yeah,
I agree with what you're saying. Like, I don't see what's wrong with what you said. That's crazy.
I don't either at all. But yeah, so my Instagram got taken down. So yeah, the one thing that I will say about like the hardcore manosphere guys, like at least they don't like try to get you canceled versus like,
oh, not true. When I got home from Fresh and Fit, before I even got home, as soon as I left the door, I had 50 DM requests. I had people, my sister, she's not like me where she can take that kind of heat. She had to put her account on private. She was like so scared for her safety. I was like, it's okay. Like, we're going to be fine. One guy actually threatened to come rape me with his friends. They were like, I know where you live and I'm going to come gang rape you. And I was like, whoa.
Yeah, that's super fucked up.
This is getting to a point where I was like, man, maybe I should take this seriously. But like leaving those fucking podcasts, there's no benefit for you. Like, oh, clout chasing, what kind of clout? I'm getting hate, like so much hate. Like I'm getting threats. Like I'm not clout chasing. That's fucked up.
Yeah, no, that's super fucked up. And I'm just gonna ask. I think my subscribers are generally cool, but yeah, for any reason, if you disagree with Guste, if you want to leave a respectful comment, that's fine. We will read it, but do not harass her. That is not cool. It's cyberbullying and it's super fucking lame. It's just super lame.
For real.
If you're trying to hook up with her, it's not the best approach either. It's not
come on, guys.
It's not going to get you late. It's
go meditate or something.
Very ineffective strategy.
Thank you. Great. Yeah.
So yeah, that's not cool at all. And yeah, I had the redheaded girl. I forget her name. Oh, Monica. You know Monica, the chick who was on Fresh and Fit. She disagreed with them a lot. And they said like redhead girl got triggered, but really they just got triggered themselves.
Yes. I think I recall.
She was the one who basically like almost destroyed his argument, because like he was getting emotional and
she called him out for being emotional. She's like, "You're being emotional right now."
She came pretty close. Yeah, she almost had him.
She did. They just didn't let her. That's what that.
Yeah, I mean, me and her had an interesting discussion where we were kind of like going through like what she could have done to like really just like fully annihilate Myron. But what's it called? Yeah, she did show me like those screenshots. They were pretty fucking bad. So yeah, I guess that is what that side does, is they send really nasty DMs, which are super fucked up. I guess what the other extreme side does is they just try to get you canceled.
Yes, there's yeah. I agree.
I wouldn't say one is worse than the other. I mean, I don't know. It depends on your perspective. I probably would rather have people telling me shit than get my Instagram canceled. But I can see how if you're a girl, that can be like
scary,
super disturbing.
Yeah.
Did that eventually stop, or do you still get those messages?
It did simmer down. Once I honestly stopped being active on my YouTube channel, I didn't get those anymore. But even when I was like posting content, like I would still get maybe like 2, 3 a day, but they weren't anything like really crazy. It would just be like paragraphs of men like ranting, be like, "You're fucking stupid, you stupid bitch. You don't know what you're talking about." Just like delete, block, delete. Like I used to be really intrigued and read all of them just because like I've never had something like that happen to me before. But then it just got to the point where I was like, I'm so over it. Like
Okay, so then let's see. What was the next point I want to bring up? Do you have any questions on this so far, by the way? I want to kind of get the guys more involved.
I love questions. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to wake you up. Oh my God. I went to bed and he like freaked out.
Yeah, he's probably having a little nightmare.
So sorry.
Do you have any questions? If not, I'll just move on to the next topic.
Yeah, we have one.
Okay.
I find it funny that Myron says there is no rape culture, while in the same breath says, if your wife isn't in the mood to have sex, but you are, she still has to have sex with you.
Totally agree. Exactly. He contradicts himself so heavily. Like he's like, rape culture doesn't exist, and then he perpetuates a rape culture. Like what?
What's the definition of rape culture?
That's honestly a good question. Rape culture is like
I know what rape is, but I'm just not sure what rape culture is.
It's like perpetuating ideas, jokes, and stuff that like kind of almost put rape in like a not. They don't take rape seriously. It's like they joke about it, and like it's kind of like Holocaust jokes, like that kind of thing. Like it perpetuates rape.
Yeah, that
I couldn't articulate it well.
Okay, I think I understand. Like the bro type of culture.
But like, yeah, like making those kinds of jokes or like not stopping your friend from saying or harassing someone, like that perpetuates a rape culture.
Okay, that might be the one thing you and I disagree on. For example, I'm half Jewish, right? Like, so I have, there's some Holocaust shit in my head, in my, past. I'll make Holocaust jokes. I think that humor is actually pretty much always okay. Unless someone is to offend someone. Like,
if it's you coping with your trauma with humor, it's okay. You're Jewish, you can make Holocaust jokes. Me, I'm not Jewish. I should not be making Holocaust jokes.
I disagree with that. I think you're more than entitled, Guste, to make those Holocaust jokes. So. If you want to let one fly, I will not Jew shame you
personally,
at all.
Good.
No, I mean, yeah, I don't think like, because I'll crack more jokes than anyone about pretty much any topic, but like. I think there's a big difference between cracking a joke and actually like doing something like as fucked up as rape. Like I just don't see them on like the same like.
Yeah, well, you see, jokes are supposed to be funny. So in what sense is rape funny? Then there should not be any jokes. Period.
No, I mean there are. I'm not going to repeat rape jokes live on air because that's just a surefire way to get myself canceled. It depends on your sense of humor. If it's something that you've personally experienced a lot, then it's probably you're going to be much more sensitive to it, and you won't find it funny.
Which is most women. So
yeah,
yeah.
I mean it's
kind of fucked up.
I mean it's kind of okay, but then also you have to mind your audience. So for example, I'm just going to say this, if I'm hanging out with some of my black friends, I'm not going to make black jokes.
That's what I'm saying. But
like
if you wouldn't make black jokes in front of your black friends, why would you think it's okay to make them in front of your white friends? That's not okay. You clearly know it's wrong that you are avoiding making those jokes in front of a certain group of people because you know that joke is wrong.
You misunderstand me. It's not because I think it's wrong. It's because I think it will be offensive to that person. So
therefore it's wrong.
I generally speaking, if that person doesn't get offended, I don't see it as wrong. So my whole thing is I don't want to make people who I'm close to feel bad, right? So, and even like guests on my podcast or whatever, just anyone who I'm acquaintances with, I'm generally going to try to be a good person to them. That's simply just out of the kindness of my heart. It's not that I feel it's wrong to make that joke. I just don't want to do something that will put that person down. It's the same thing. I won't bring up a topic that they might be uncomfortable with, like for example, hair loss around someone who's sensitive about hair loss. Myself.
Sure, but then you're making those group of people think that it's okay to make those kinds of jokes. Maybe they're not like you, where they have the common sense to not say those things in front of certain people, but they don't know that. Like you're being a bad influence by showing them that it's okay to make these kinds of jokes, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, again, I think this is a topic you and I would disagree on. I think that humor is pretty much always okay, as long as it's not at like. The one exception is if it's like to tear someone down. So if I'm using humor as a way to tear you down, like I'm hiding my malicious intent under humor, and that does happen sometimes, then it's not okay. But aside from that, I do think humor I don't think that it's like it goes back to the whole argument, does violence in movies and video games cause violence in real life? And there's like people are split on that, right? Like some people say no, there's no correlation like Quentin Tarantino. Some people say yes, there is. It's like, you can have different views on that. I'm definitely on the side that violence in movies and video games does not cause violence in real life. Like
it just desensitizes you to it.
I've seen so many horror movies, but I'm like one of the least violent people ever. Like I haven't been in a fight in like 10 years. So I don't know. I mean, again, I think you can make arguments on both sides of that. But yeah, anyway, I think this is an issue that you and I probably would disagree on. But so what I want to bring on was, we kind of brought this up earlier, men paying for drinks. So what are your thoughts on this? Deep, dark question.
I mean, like if a man pays for my drink, like, I mean, what's the context?
Okay, so you go on a date with a guy, he asked to split the bill. Was that an instant deal breaker for you, or?
It's not an instant deal breaker, but I'm obviously taking notes in my head. Like I'm like, probably not gonna go on a second date. I just think it's courtesy. Like I didn't ask you on the date. You asked me on the date. I'm doing you the favor by giving you my time, and my time is money. So if you think I'm valuable and you think that you want to pursue me and want to do something further, then show me. Show me why you're better than all the men that are lined out the door waiting to talk to me. Because I know the men waiting out the door, that guy's going to pay, that guy's going to pay, that guy's going to pay, but you're not going to pay? Next. That's my opinion.
Head explodes.
But it's true because we have women like
you do have more options.
Fuck anything,
Yes.
Like women are so selective. So like if you really want to try and like, you got to show me what you got. Like impress me. Like show me that you're different than the rest of the guys.
Yes, and there's an element of truth in what you're saying. Yes, you do have. It's a lot easier for a pretty girl to get laid than a successful guy. So one thing I definitely disagree with the red pill community or whatever, fresh and fit on, is they say, "Oh, when you're a high value guy, girls line up for you." No, they don't. There's no app that girls have that. Oh, Johnny over here is a high value guy. Most of the time, they don't even fucking know. If you get to an insane level where you're like a celebrity, yes, that is true. But aside from that, aside from like, significant fame or extreme money, we're not talking millions, talking billions or multi-millions, no one's lining up for you. It's not happening. You're going to be better off being like a really good looking guy than being like this high value guy who has his shit together. Like no one gives a shit. The competition is pretty stiff. So yes, I do. And I'm sure plenty of guys will line up for you. When you make the argument though, that like something as simple as like having your drink paid for, like how much is it? It's like $20, $40 in Miami. That's like, you're a successful woman, you know, going out with a successful guy.
Yeah.
That's like a fairly insignificant sum of money. That to me just seems like such a like insignificant investment compared to like personality or vibe.
Yes, I mean, of course, personality and vibe is. If you don't pay for my drinks and we hit it off, the chemistry is amazing. Then like, I don't give a fuck about if you paid for the drinks or not paid for the drinks. Like, obviously that is way more important than if you have money or not money. La la la.
Okay. So do you see it more as like the guy paying for a drink is just like you see it as like a nice gesture?
It's a nice gesture, yeah.
Okay.
That's all it is. It's not
Okay.
like a no, like go home, like you're not gonna pay for my drink. You're an asshole.
All right, fair enough.
I have a question.
Yes.
Guste, am I pronouncing your name right?
Yes, you are.
Okay, perfect. For you, does it make a difference if you see, like, if he's just someone who, because I have a rule. If I'm not ever going to see this guy again, I don't let him pay.
That's, I mean, fair. I know some women who do that too. And I was gonna say, like, if I'm having like a really awful time at the date or something, like I'll probably like split the bill just so like he gets the hint that I'm not really interested.
Or if I see him just as a booty call, I don't even care. Like, I'm like, oh.
Then yeah, no.
So there are exceptions too.
I mean, sure, but even like, I mean, it varies by women, I guess. Like sometimes if I'm having a really bad time, like, you know what, this fucker deserves to pay for my shit. I had such a bad time. Like, what a waste of time to be here. Like, you're gonna pay for my shit, you know? So it really depends. Or I'm like, wow, I'm really scared. Like, I need to go. Like, I'll pay for half my thing so he doesn't expect anything. Like, there's, you know, there's a time and place.
It's important to make mention of that.
Yeah.
The one counter argument I would give is if you had a really shitty time, chances are he had a really shitty time too.
Fair.
So,
I
so
mean,
at that point, he
yeah,
can be
like,
like, yo, I had a horrible time. This woman should just pay for my shit.
No.
Fair. We'll pay half and half. You know, I'll call it a
This is
fucking
miserable.
I don't know. Like, I have instances where
She didn't laugh at any of my rape jokes. She
oh my god.
She didn't laugh at any of my black jokes.
It's like, damn it, what a bitch.
I
God
have
damn.
instances where the guy was like, "Oh, I had a great time tonight," and I'm like, "How?"
I'm like, we really didn't talk about anything funny. Like, did I laugh once? Like, laugh count 0. Like,
that happens more often than not, where the guy
I
just
agree.
didn't get the hint.
What's the worst date you've had? What are some of your
oh
horror
my
stories?
god, I was. Okay, so I went on a date with a guy. Damn, I'm gonna be canceled for this one. I went on a date with a guy that I knew I wasn't interested in, but I went on the date because it was my roommate's friend and she was really begging me to go on a date with this guy. She was like, he really likes you. He's so sweet. Like, he's all this and all that. And I was like, girl, like, I'm telling you, like, I'm really not interested in him, but like, I'll go to be nice. Like, maybe we'll hit it off. Maybe it'll be
What
a
made
good
you not
time.
interested from the start? He just wasn't physically your type? Or?
Yeah, you know, like my type is like, you know, like not athletic, but like in shape. This man wasn't in shape. Like, it didn't look like he like took good care of himself, like hygiene wise. You know? Like, he drove a nice car, he drove a Porsche, but like that doesn't make me be like, oh yeah, like he's hot. No. So this is why Fresh and Fit take away phones. And so we went on a date and he picked me up. And when we go to the place, it's Olive Garden. And then I was like, you know what? Interesting. I was like, I'm not trying to be a bitch and I'm not trying to judge, but like Olive Garden, like we went to Olive Garden. I was like, you know, that's fine. It's fine. It's fine. So we're ordering our stuff, la la la. This man pulls out a vape and starts vaping at the fucking table. Like our waitress is here, like taking our orders, like blowing clouds, and I'm like, I'm so embarrassed. I've never been so embarrassed in my entire life to be with a man before. And I was like, it's fine. Like,
you're not a smoker, I take it.
I do vape.
Oh,
I do smoke. I take bong rips, like, but like, bro, at Olive Garden, like in front of the waitress, like I have manners, you know. Like,
so like
Go
in
to-
restaurants, you're not supposed to.
yeah, like
No, I know that.
I get you have an addiction, but bro, go to the bathroom, do it in the bathroom. But like in front of the waitress, like this is Olive Garden. This is a family-friendly zone, you know? Like, so I was like, damn, this is awful. And then Mans was like on his phone and like he looked like he had a bad attitude. And I was like, yo, like, is everything okay? Like, is everything good? He's like, no, I've had such a bad day. I'm in such a bad mood. And I was like, then why would we go on a date? Like, why today when you're in a bad, shitty mood where you're not talking? Like, why would we go on a date? Like, I really don't understand. So that was that. That was definitely the worst date I've had. Luckily,
That was the worst?
yeah. Luckily, I haven't had any.
Yeah, it
like,
doesn't sound too terrible.
yeah, no, it wasn't too. Like, I've never had any like.
Sounds like a fat, smelly guy who vapes
just-
inside Olive Garden.
Exactly. Yeah. Like, thank God that's the worst experience. I know girls have had way worse experiences. That was my worst.
Okay, it's not bad. I think I've had worse date experiences than you, honestly.
Damn, really?
Yeah, one time.
What was your worst one?
hard to say the worst one. Well, actually, the worst one.
Damn, he's like, which one?
The worst one was when I got jumped and knocked out, and
that's a whole other level.
yeah, that's a story for another time. But
Jeez.
I don't know, a bad one. I don't know. There's one when I was in Colombia, and this chick, she was just like a ditzy paisa, like paisa's like girl from Medellin, and she was like. She kept running to the bathroom and doing lines of blow, and it was like
Oh my god,
so obvious. Like
she's like the day. She's like, "Hey, how are you?"
Yeah, she come back like,
oh no,
sniffing her nose.
It's like wiping. Like,
I was having a little fun with it. I was like, "Is your stomach okay?" She's like, "Oh yeah, I just drank a lot. Have to pee." I'm like, "You didn't really drink that much." And like, like I'm down with drugs. Like you could just tell me you want to do coke.
Yeah,
I might do it. I might not do it, but I don't give a shit at all. But anyways, so she was also like deliberately going out of her way to order like the most expensive shit ever, which in Colombia is actually not that expensive anyway. But like she was like literally trying so
hard. Like you can tell.
Yeah,
like at least make it like hide it.
Yeah. Well, I had by the time I finished one drink, she was already like 5 drinks in.
Oh fuck.
So she's like power drinking, power snorting, not paying not paying attention to anything, and she's like super annoying. Yeah, like when someone's like really high on coke, they're just getting annoying as fuck, especially when the other person is like relatively sober.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah, so I was like, oh fuck this shit. So when she went to the bathroom, I went to the bartender and I was like, hey, I'd like to close out my tab. He's like, oh cool, you're with the lady. I'm like, yeah, but I'll just pay for my drink. And he was like, okay, and he was like, had like kind of looked awkward. I'm like, yeah, you just give her drinks to her. And then like I watched from the corner of the bar as the guy came over and just delivered the tap to her, and she just had like a little hissy fit. She's like, ah. And then she just, I can't make this shit up. She just ran. She just picked up her stuff and calmly speed walked over to some random old white guy who was sitting there and sat down next to him and was like, hola papi.
No, you're lying.
I am not.
Where'd you find this girl?
Tinder.
there you have it, guys.
I've had some great experiences on Tinder too. Do you fuck with dating apps?
I fuck with them for validation and validation only. I have not met one single person in person.
Oh Christ.
Hey, listen, I'm being honest. Like I'll just be like bored sometimes. Like, let me go on Tinder. Fuck it, like whatever. And then there's guys like, you're so beautiful. I'm like, like getting my validation. I'm like, okay, Instagram. Like, I never actually pull through. Like, maybe I'll talk to them and like get to know them, but majority of time, I like to do it the old-fashioned way, where I meet someone like in person, like not over Tinder.
Like where, like a bar or something?
Yeah, like bars, I guess.
What are
not
some
the
like
best place, but
what are some like successful situations where you were approached by a guy and you were like, fuck yeah, this is awesome?
Shit. Honestly, I think the most successful ones have been over Instagram DM. I don't know.
Over DMs?
Yeah.
It's interesting that you don't go on with the Tinder guys, but the Instagram
But
guys.
the Instagram DM, yeah, it's just because like, Tinder, Hinge, Bumble, they all have their intentions. That's people looking to fuck or have a relationship. So like their intentions are very clear. Instagram, it's more like, like they're not just, I don't know, fucking maybe I'm naive, whatever.
Yeah,
but like,
definitely on that one.
But like a guy like DMing be like, hey, like I love your style, like we should go thrifting sometime. I'm like, oh my God, that's fucking awesome. He's so cool, like complimented my style, like wants to go thrifting, do something cool, like that's successful. Like I'll go thrifting with you. That's lit.
What are some like successful, besides that, what are some successful DMs, some good first openers that you've received that made you go out on a date with a guy?
Honestly, compliments that are like more specific, not like, oh, like you're beautiful, you're pretty, like I'd love to get to know you. Cause like number one, like I hear that often. It's not anything like really whatever. Like if you stand out, like if you make yourself stand out, I'm like, oh, like this guy's interesting, like a joke or like you're funny or something. I don't know, but
I say always, like when you do compliments on things that the girl had to work on. So style would be one of them.
Yes, that's genius. See, this is good advice. This is advice that men should be giving, not Fresh and Fit and Donovan. Like this is valuable advice.
You flatter me, Guste.
I'm saying like that's really what it is. Like, oh, like love your style, like you're so talented, like stuff like that catches my attention. I'm like, oh, like he's paying attention,
Right.
Versus, oh, you're so pretty, like okay.
Do you think it's better to just slide in the DMs or to respond to a story?
You know what? I was gonna say I didn't have a preference, but responding to a story, because you're responding to like certain content and like from there you can kind of carry a conversation naturally, versus just like DMing a girl like, hey, like you're pretty, and then like you kind of have to like figure out what to talk about from there. Like, oh, like where are you from? You know, shit like that.
Next question: how much messaging back and forth before it's a good time to ask the girl out on a date on Instagram?
These are good questions. I like these. I would say like maybe a day.
But like a day can be 5 messages or 500 messages, like ballpark if we're talking.
You know what? I think like obviously not off the bat, just not off the bat. Like wait a bit. I don't know. I don't know how specific I can be with that, but not off the bat. Like obviously get to know her a little bit more, like have like a good conversation. Have a good conversation. See if like, try and see if she's vibing with you. If she's vibing with you, like shoot your shot, be like, hey, we should go. You don't have to ask her on like a date, but just be like, hey, like we should go eat at this place sometime. Like I heard it's like, I saw it on TikTok. It looks really dope. Like we should go, you know, like something like casual, friendly, fun. Yeah.
You're definitely a Gen Z. I saw it on TikTok.
I love TikTok. That's my shit. It's a great.
Are you on TikTok?
Yes, I am on TikTok.
Nice. Yeah, we just cracked 100K followers on there.
Congratulations. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah,
What do you guys post on TikTok?
Just like advice. Like honestly, I think my TikTok content is trash compared to my YouTube content, because TikTok, it's like, how do you explain something as complex as, you know,
in 60 seconds.
no, in 30 seconds, because
Yeah.
60 seconds people don't even want to watch that. And we figured out that once we did 30-second videos, we got like 5x the views. So 30 seconds. Yeah, but for some reason we get like 2,000-3,000 followers a day on TikTok. On YouTube, it's like 100 a day. It's like,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. TikTok is the easiest platform to like gain a really big audience. So keep doing whatever you're doing on TikTok.
yeah. But then occasionally we get like fucking shadow banned and
Don't
Take it
even
down.
TikTok. Literally, I was making mad guap off TikTok. I made like $300 off of TikTok because I was on the creator fund. I posted.
Whoa, how do you make money off TikTok?
You can sign up for the creator fund. I don't know.
What is-
Number one, you have to have over 10K followers. You have to
Check.
have over 100K
Check.
views. That's really it. You can apply for the creator fund and you make money, like more money than YouTube.
Really?
Yeah,
I did not
think
know
so.
about this at all. Okay.
Yeah. So sign up for the creator fund, you make money. So, and it's like passive income. Like you make like $20 a day, like type shit. Anyways, I post one video talking about how like, oh, the world would be a better place if men didn't exist. I got my fucking account banned. They removed me permanently from the creator fund. They told me I couldn't take out my $300.
I can
was
see
like,
how 50% of the population might
I
not
was
like that
fuck.
video.
I was like, bro, like, men make rape jokes on there and they don't get like these punishments. Like,
No, you cannot make rape jokes on
that
TikTok.
is literally such a lie because I've come
You
across
cannot.
many.
I've gotten taken down for like the littlest, tiniest things, like the most innocent, like
Same one. I was wearing a bathing suit and they took it down for like nudity and then shadow banned me. I was like, what the fuck? Like, what is this? Whack.
At least you're not in the adult industry. They get like 100 times worse. We had Sarah J on for a podcast, and they get like persecuted like motherfuckers.
Yeah, no, that's fucked up.
Yeah. Do we have any questions so far on this? Before we move to the next topic.
Yeah. I am curious whether most women would date a guy that doesn't drink. Why?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh my god, that's so that's honestly so sexy. Like a man who doesn't drink but still can go out and have a good time. Like I applaud you. I would love to be able to go out to clubs and like not black out to have a good time. So like that's just honestly impressive.
Try kava.
True.
Solution
Very
to all
true.
your problems right here.
I will give it another shot because y'all are really hyping it up.
They don't like it. I'm a big fan. What else do we have on this topic?
No, that's it.
All right, cool.
I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
What do you think about porn? Do you think porn is good?
That's a
Do you
very.
religiously watch porn?
I do not religiously watch porn. I definitely do not religiously watch porn. So
Good.
I used to though.
Really? What made you stop?
I started getting laid.
Ah, I see. Okay.
I realized
Fair.
I realized the real thing was a lot better.
Yes. Period.
It is a lot better. It's like it's not even close to me. It's like jacking off is like it's not even the same territory as having sex. It's like so much better to have sex. What do I think about porn? It's a pretty vague question, so I think just to kind of break it down a little bit more. I don't have any kind of ethical problem with the porn industry at all. Nothing like that. I've interviewed a lot of porn stars. I respect what they do. I would potentially in a different world be a porn star myself. You know, like if
Sure. Yeah.
things had gone differently. I don't mean because I have a small dick. I mean because of my neck. Just to clarify that.
Yeah, no, I see what you're saying.
I saw that little like
Go off, you know.
But yeah. So and if I didn't have this YouTube thing, whatever, blah blah. Plus, under pressure, it's really hard to perform. But anyway,
That is
so
true.
so I have no ethical problem with it. I do think that porn can become addictive if you let it be. I think like a lot of things in life can be addictive, and I think porn is definitely one of them. So if you're a guy who's jacking off 3 times a day, that's a problem. And
Yes,
that's
it is a
gonna
problem.
lower your drive to go out and meet girls, because you can just like bust a nut in like 2 minutes. So yeah, if it gets to that point, that's a problem. If you're like if you're watching it once a week, but you're still having sex with girls, then I think it's okay.
Stop watching porn. It's awful. Very bad for a brain. Stop watching. Porn is awful. I mean, sure, once a week, whatever, like have your whatever. But there's been so many studies. Number one, 80 to 90% of all porn is like depicting some violent, fucked up shit. Like,
what kind of porn do you watch, Guste?
I don't watch porn. Number one,
80, 90%.
Number two, okay, maybe that statistic is wrong, but I saw somewhere that the majority of porn depicts some sort of violence or like unconsensual or like just some fuck shit. Like, really?
No.
Okay, then I'm right
I
there.
watched a lot of porn in my days.
Fair. Okay, fair.
Like less than 10%, if anything.
Regardless, porn has been proven scientifically to show that it makes women like look like objects instead of actual people. So men who watch porn, for example, they did a study where they had a man and they had like a monitor to monitor like their brain, whatever, and there would be like a woman walking by like fully like clothed, modest, whatever, and like his brainwaves signaled that was a person, that was a human being. They did the same thing with a guy. As soon as like a woman showed a bit of revealing clothing, his brain started to register her as an object and not a person anymore. And that's what porn does. And killers like Ted Bundy, they said that porn was one of the reasons why they started looking at women as objects and being able to kill them like that. And that is literally coming from a serial rapist. Like,
yeah, but I just think that guy's like making excuses. Like, I know I watch so much porn. I know so many.
But it does bad shit to your brain. There's so much
maybe,
research.
but certainly it's not gonna porn is gonna make you serial kill people.
It's not gonna make you a serial killer, but it makes you look at women as objects and not people who have feelings and emotions. And as well as that, there's so much illegal like actual rape is like put onto these websites, and like they don't really do anything about it. Like there was a woman who was literally raped and had her footage put onto Pornhub, and it took them a year to take down that footage. Like there's so much illegal content circulating porn websites.
So let me comment on that, because I am pretty well versed in the porn industry. Again, I've interviewed a lot of porn stars. I'm pretty fascinated by it.
Yeah, I'm all for sex work. Go off.
Yeah, so there might be content like that from time to time, but the actual porn industry, like the professional, it's highly regulated. And there's either before on you
it's
agree on.
It's not that regulated.
It's not just like we just take our clothes on and start fucking. There's like you agree on things that you're okay with, things you don't okay with. You have a yes list, you have a no list. There's a million consent forms. Everything is very supervised. It's not just like a free for all. We start fucking, and I can just like fucking like slap you in the face. That's a misconception. Yeah, so it's not like it's not like that at all. It's very like like on the dot, because everyone's super worried about lawsuits. Everyone's super worried about allegations. So they like almost overdo all like the legal stuff. So,
has that been like a recent change? Because from what I've heard is that there's a lot of illegal content circulating on these websites, like literal like fucked up shit.
Yeah, I mean, there's probably like
you
percentages maybe like
if you go on the dark,
most of it is like very regulated. Like
if you go on the dark web, you can probably find that kind of
yeah, no, that's
but aside from the dark web, which is like an extreme example, on like Pornhub and stuff like that, sure, I'm sure some of it gets through time to time before it gets deleted, but it's a small fraction of that content. Small tiny fraction. Yeah, most porn is highly consensual and like very much clearly agreed upon. The only thing that you can make an issue with is revenge porn, which is like consensual at the time, but then it becomes unconsensual with the girl posting it.
Yeah,
that might get through more often, but like in terms of like like you rape someone then you put it on like Pornhub, that's very rare. Like that doesn't happen often at all.
Still bad for brain though. Porn no good.
So yes, I will agree with that. There's definitely not good for your brain. My issue with it is I think it just affects your motivation. I think that you're just going to be less likely to go out and talk to girls if you can just jack off. Like, let's say you're at a club and you got rejected a few times, and you're like, oh fuck, I'm just gonna go home and jerk off. If that option doesn't exist, you're gonna be like, my only way of busting a nut tonight is if I meet a girl. So that primitive drive is gonna take over, and it's gonna help you, push
Do
on.
better. Yeah. Work on your game. Work on your personality. Work on yourself.
Yeah. So I don't know. I have a little bit of a mixed view on porn. Any other questions?
Guste, are you dating right now?
No, I'm happily single. I came out of a really toxic relationship.
Can you expand?
Yeah, so I was dating this guy for 3 years, and there was a bunch of fucked up shit. Keyed my car, broke my windows, had a
Jeez.
restraining order. Yeah, he stalked me, followed me.
How do you meet this lovely fellow? Was this also an Instagram DM?
No, it was actually at my first party I went to in high school. We were playing beer pong, and that's how we met.
Did he sink his balls into your cup? And that's
That's
why you're
exactly
here.
what fucking happened. I was like, oh my god, he's so talented. He's so good. Yeah. So that happened. It was honestly really bad. I was in a super depressive state. I lost all my friends, everyone close to me, just because I was with this person. It was really bad. I actually had to move away from my college for a year, and I also had to change my phone number.
Where do you go to school?
I went to Florida State University.
Cool.
Donuts.
FSU.
Yeah.
Wait, is that? Oh, you went to UF.
I went to UF.
Oh my god,
Competition.
rivals.
Well, it's funny because I went to BU and Myron went to Northeastern, which is also very much rivals in that sense. The irony, and now we have competing podcasts.
Good. I hope yours does way better than his.
Well, thank you.
because
I hope the
This
same.
one's way better.
I
I'll
hope the
tell you.
same thing as well. I do hope mine does better as well. At the very least, we have a Siberian Husky.
Exactly.
Do you feel? Well,
We have a question regarding that. Why did you let him? Well, it goes with this is a question one of the guys have.
Yes.
Why did you let him do that?
Okay, so number one, I grew up in a very.
Holy shit! Are you double jointed?
Am I?
Can most human beings do that?
I don't know. Right? I thought that was normal.
Isn't that?
Oh, maybe I don't know.
No, my elbow looks mad.
I
Fucking
can't
weird.
fucking my fucking
My elbow looks fucking weird. I don't know how to explain it.
my muscles are like way
But
too
I'm not
tight.
double jointed. Number one, I grew up in a really toxic household where I didn't know what a healthy, normal relationship looked like. My mom dated a very toxic man, and police were constantly at our house. So I honestly, not that I didn't know better, but I didn't see a good example of what a good man looked like. My father was very absent out of my life. And as well as that, dating someone who is manipulative, gaslights you, it's extremely hard to leave a relationship, especially when they don't let you leave. Like, for example, there was many times where I tried to leave the relationship and this man would come to my house at 4 a.m, ringing my doorbell.
Jeez.
He'd key my car. I literally had to change my phone number. He would call me 300 times a day from a star 67. I had to change my phone number. I had to move back home. Like, I tried to leave and he wouldn't let me until I made the decision to move back home and change my fucking phone number. Even then, he was sending me emails. I had to block his email. Like, there was just no getting away from this person.
Yeah, it's like sociopathy.
Yeah. And I don't it's really hard to see that perspective because I know a lot of people out there probably have friends who have been in really toxic relationships and you're like, you're so stupid. Why don't you leave? Why don't you leave? But they make it so.
No, I get that part.
It's so hard to leave. And plus, toxic relationships are like addictions.
Yeah.
There's super high highs and then super low lows. So you're constantly waiting for that high again. And you're always seeking that high, which is addictive. Even to this day, it's been a year, 2 years since we broke up, and randomly out of the blue, he'll be in my dream and I'll be like, what the fuck? And I'll be like, why? Because it's literally, it's a drug. It's addictive. It's hard to leave relationships like that.
That's interesting though, because I feel like that definitely. Do you think that explains why your mindset is what it is? Like the combination of one, you didn't have a good male role model, and two, your first relationship was really horrible, right? Because I almost see it as on the other end of the spectrum, you have the the hardcore red pill guys, and they didn't have a good female role model.
Yeah.
And their first relationship was horrible. The girl,
Yes.
they just dated like a sociopath, and then so now then they came to the conclusion oh fuck, women, blah blah blah.
Exactly. I really like that you brought that up because there was a time very recently, I would say last year, where I was focusing on all of the bad things that men did to me because a lot of men have caused a lot of fucked up trauma in my life. So I was like, fuck men are trash. And I would constantly like look at men in a very like negative light. I was like, men are shit. Clearly, because like the majority of men that I came in contact with like were just didn't treat me right or did some fuck shit. But it's your perspective changes everything. And once I realized that there are good men, like I realized like I have male friends that are amazing. Once I started focusing on all of the good men in my life, I started to notice that more good men started coming into my life. It all depends on what you focus on. So like, yes, like I went through a bunch of trauma and shit, but like if you know that, yeah, that happened to me, but there are good men do exist, and you focus on the good, you will start to see more of that good. So luckily for me, I was able to heal from my trauma to realize that very recently. These men who are 30 years old, they're still like in pain. That's why they're acting this way. They haven't healed themselves to realize that women aren't what they're saying women are.
Do you feel like you're fully healed or mostly healed?
Mostly healed.
Okay.
There's definitely still like a lot I have to work on. Like, for example, like when the topic of rape is brought up, I get extremely emotionally triggered. And that's obviously because I've had personal experience with that. And like, until that is healed, I will not be able to have a conversation where emotion is not involved in that conversation.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. Yeah. I mean, yeah. I would say I'll give you props for like at least acknowledging that and like doing the work. I do think that again, on the spectrum, you have like the guys who are just like. My perspective is that there's good men, good women. Most people in general are pretty shitty, especially in Miami.
Well, see, most people aren't shitty though. That's your perspective. If you focus on most people are good, I promise you, like you're gonna start seeing that most people are good. It's all about perspective.
Trust me, I have a lot of good people in my life. Yeah, there's a lot more than that. Like I'm very good at picking the good people and bringing them into my life.
Good.
But I'm very weary about who I bring into my life. And I do think a lot of people, maybe not most, but a lot of people are shitty. Men and women. Doesn't have to be. I don't think one is more shittier than the other. So yeah, I think that's one thing. It's just funny to me because like the hardcore red pill guys, they just think, oh, women are shitty, women are the problem. Men are the victims, and then the hardcore feminists, they think men are shitty, we are the victims. And it's like there's shitty people on both sides.
It's just to listen to one another, like listen to what they're saying, try and do your best to comprehend, vice versa, is really what it is.
That will never happen.
It will though. It will. Once people are able to talk, like for example, me and Donovan, like I would have never thought that I would have respect for someone who has such fucked up views, but here I am and I respect him because of the way he treated me. So like it's definitely possible to have two extreme sides, like be good and be chillin'. I think humans are innately good. It's just some of them grow up without love and they experience trauma that's never healed. And that's what causes them to be so shitty and project all of this trauma onto other people because they haven't healed.
I hope you're listening, Rollo Tomasi.
Yes. I hear his name a lot, but I don't know who he is.
Oh, he's just some old dude who hangs out in a man cave. No, he wrote the book, The Rational Male. He's what inspired a lot of the content that Fresh and Fit says, what Donovan says. A lot of their content come from his teachings, his writings. I agree with probably 50-60% of the stuff he says. I disagree with 40%, but I do think he's extremely unqualified to give dating advice. Extremely unqualified.
That's what I'm thinking too. Like half these men who have all these like subscribers and stuff, like what qualifications do they have? Because number one, they don't get pussy to talk about dating advice in the first place. Myron's on a dating app. Look at Walter. Like it speaks for itself. Like come on now. So
who do you think gets laid less, Myron or Walter?
Oh, Walter for sure. Because Myron seems like the type of guy who can manipulate and like, I don't know, not to like make any suggestions, but he seems like the kind. I actually talked to the girl who got pregnant. So I heard.
Did that really happen? Did she actually get pregnant?
I haven't kept tabs
that whole
on
thing
her.
Was so confusing.
Yeah, I would text her, but honestly, I want to stay away from that whole fucking drama. But she took a pregnancy test and it came out positive and she's taking another blood test or whatever. I don't know how that's going, but she should already know by now. If that's true.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to make any allegations. I have no idea whether Myron got this girl pregnant or not, so I'm remaining neutral at this one. All right, so let me move on to the next one.
We have one question before
go ahead.
on. Did you have any part into making it a toxic relationship, or was it 100% the guy's fault? And if yes, how did you contribute to it?
Okay, self-reflection question. I would like to believe that I didn't contribute to the toxicity, but everything that he did to me I did back. Like my coping mechanism for me was revenge. So yes, I did partake in toxicity.
we have that in common.
Yeah, and it's a really terrible coping mechanism. I didn't know how to healthily express pain and trauma without getting back at the person, and then that's how I would like heal. I was like, oh, like you cheated on me, like I'm gonna go fuck your best friend, and boom, now we're chilling, you know, like I'm not mad about it anymore. But in reality, it was fucked up. Like I'm pretty sure I threw a pasta sauce through his window after he shattered my window. So like obviously like I partook in whatever he did, I did back to him. So yes, I was toxic as well. I was young, I was stupid. I didn't know better.
How do you stop this cycle?
You need to want better for yourself. Look at the way you're being treated. If you were in that person's shoes, would you be doing that to yourself? If the answer is no, you need to leave the relationship, whether that's asking a friend for help, asking your mom, asking your dad, going to a therapist, like just asking for ways to leave this relationship, because it's hard, you know, like I tried leaving and I always went back. So it's really, you can't change someone's mind. It's up to you to leave, and that's it. You need to want better for yourself. You need to respect yourself. You need to love yourself. That's what it is. People who are in relationships like this don't love themselves. And until you love yourself 100%, then you'll find someone who loves you 100%.
How did you start loving yourself? What did you do?
I hit rock bottom. That's what I did. I lost everyone I loved. Literally, all my friends stopped talking to me. I was not taking care of my hygiene. I wasn't showering. I wasn't eating. I wasn't leaving my house. I just saw myself like going down this fucking hill, and I hit rock bottom, and I was like, I need to be better. And that's...
So it was just like a epiphany?
Not an epiphany. It was just, I literally just like lost everything. I had no friends. I had no motivation. I had no drive. And then suddenly like, I wanted better for myself. I started reading self-help books. And I think honestly, reading those books really changed my life.
What were some of your favorite ones?
Oh my fucking God. Please, if you ever have the chance, please read any of Joe Dispenza's book. He's a neuroscientist, a neurologist. He studies the brain, and he goes over the scientific like reasoning behind why you think the way you do and like how to attract certain things.
What was the name of his book?
Becoming Supernatural is one of them. And then another one is Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself by Joe Dispenza. He's literally so amazing. Like,
I'll check it out. This might be one of the very few self-help stuff I haven't read.
No, like this man, like he's helped. This woman had literally like stage 4 cancer. She healed stage 4 cancer with her fucking brain. It sounds fucking crazy. I know it sounds wild, but God,
I'm always like so skeptical of when I hear stuff like that.
But you have no idea like learning about the power of your brain is honestly what changed my life. Your fucking brain. That's why I'm saying like your perspective is everything. Like you think the majority of people are shitty. Like I promise you, just for a week, try and change that perspective. Try and be like, everyone is fucking awesome. Everyone is so nice. And then just literally watch what happens. I swear to God, it's like fucking magic.
Sounds like a great way to wind up on the Fresh and Fit podcast.
No, do it. I promise you, you'll see.
What, let me write this down. I'll actually check it out. Which one of those books did you like more?
The Becoming Supernatural. It has a bunch of scientific like data.
Okay.
Because I'm sure you're a person who only believes shit if there's scientific reason behind it.
Honestly, I'm not.
Really?
I'm not.
That's
you would think that, but I'm not. No, I go off the biggest thing for me, because I think scientific data can be skewed and manipulated.
Yes.
And so I go off testimonials from people who I trust. That's the biggest thing to me. So, for example, if one of my friends who I trust hasn't experienced this and I trust him, and I see multiple people, like multiple friends have that experience, that to me is more than like data or whatever.
Yeah, because it's personal experience.
Yeah, so I go off a lot of that. The biggest thing is firsthand experience, but secondhand, if people I trust, that's like to me bigger. Yeah, I try not to. I was laughing when Donovan was saying I'm trying to get bogged down by the data, which seems like an excuse for him just like not doing any research.
Yeah, literally, I was like, you asked me to debate and you came so unprepared. Like.
Yeah. Well, actually, I do think he didn't really like. You're clearly a pretty intelligent human being.
I would say so.
And I don't think he expected that, honestly.
That's what I was thinking too. I was like, this man definitely underestimated my capabilities, but good, honestly, works in my advantage.
For sure. All right, so let's move on to the next topic. we got only a few left. Okay. This one was interesting. This was brought up during your debate. This is something that me and my girlfriend debate about all the time. Men and women being just friends. So
I have a lot of guy friends.
she has a lot of guy friends. My contention is that a lot of those guy friends want to bang her. Like, now,
this is fucking complicated.
I have no problem with her having guy friends at all, but I do think a lot of those guy friends want to bang her, which is what it is. What's your take on that? How many of those dudes want to bang my girlfriend? I'm just kidding. Sort of.
I'm really sorry. Here, just you ask yourself this question. If you went up to any of those guys and you made a move first, would they reject you?
I think some of them will.
Good. Keep those men for the rest of your fucking life. Those men are so rare. So rare.
Some, but most won't.
But yeah, that was a realization that was really unsettling to come to terms with. I saw someone mention that and I was like thinking about all my guy friends and I was like, if I made a move on one of these fuckers, would they make him would they, I was like, yes, every single one would. So I was like,
would reject you? Or
no, would hook up with me. Yeah. So I was like, damn, bro, it almost feels like they just keep me around in case one day I get drunk or one day I'm feeling them and I hook up with them. Because when I look at my guy friends, I don't see any substance in our relationship. I don't talk to them about oh, I had a really bad day today, or I don't talk about emotionally deep things with my guy friends. Uh-huh. Those are the conversations I have with my girlfriends. Uh-huh. So to me, that's very telling about guys in the sense of where they stand having girlfriends.
Yeah, I think it's the befriending girls you find. So I actually don't have an extreme view on this. I do think there are possibilities where a man and a woman can be legitimately friends.
Yes, it's possible.
I'll expand on when I think that can be possible. But I do think that the reason guys befriend girls they are attracted to is because they don't know any better. They're afraid to show their intent. They're afraid to be like, hey, I think you're really cute. Do you want to, grab a drink sometime? They're afraid to do that. It's much safer to befriend someone because it's a lot harder to get rejected as a friend. Like, hey, I want to help you with your homework.
That's a great fucking point that I never thought of.
It is a ineffective strategy. At the end of the day, it's just an ineffective approach to meeting women. The problem is that most of that doesn't pan out. Most of the time when a girl friend zones you, she's not going to unfriend zone you unless there's some special circumstance.
Yeah, and do you guys have female friends?
Me personally?
Yeah.
Yes, I do. But there are some exceptions. I only have female friends with girls who I do not find physically attractive.
Fucking shit, man.
Because if it's a girl who I want to befriend and I find her physically attractive,
that's not going to work out.
Then I'm just going to, why don't I just go out with her? That's the first thing. Second category is the exception to that is if there's some business interest. So for example, Kezia Noble, I think she's super hot, obviously. But, we have a business interest, so I keep it professional. And, other female YouTubers and stuff like that. Yeah. So, other, female, when there's a business relationship, I will keep it professional, because, we have that, right? So I will override the fact that I think that, they're hot and I like them as a person, and we'll just keep it, purely,
can't you also find someone attractive and also be this person's really fucking dope just to hang out with? I find their conversation's valuable or fun or they're interesting.
But why would I not just date them, right? So, because if I find them physically attractive and I enjoy their company, then they can be
fair.
I can get that best of both worlds, right?
Fair point. But what if she says you're just a friend? Would you dip?
That doesn't happen.
Damn. Okay.
You can avoid that just by showing your intent and not being the friend zonable guy. Yeah, and I think that can be largely avoided. I think the guys who get friend zoned are the guys who just for months.
Yeah.
Fair. And then the girl friend zones him. I think actually you and I pretty much agree on this one then.
No, you forgot someone. A girl you hooked up with, but you're no longer
yes.
interested.
So, but yes. But that falls under the no sexual attraction category. So we hooked up.
Well, that means you must have had some sort of sexual attraction to hook up, no?
Yes, but sexual attraction is not permanent. It comes and goes.
Okay.
Yeah, so
fair.
I had sexual attraction at one point. I no longer have sexual attraction.
But here's the thing. He believes that it's only one way. If the guy friend zones you,
Then what?
that's like, okay, like he definitely sees you as a friend. But if like you as a girl hooked up with a guy and you're like, oh well, the sex was not that good, but he's a cool person, then it's not really like a friendship.
Yeah, so I think that if the guy's the one that friend zones the girl, which almost never happens, always
Yeah, I was
the other
about to
way,
say, I was like, that's so
almost never
rare.
happens. But I've actually friend zoned chicks, right? And because again, they were cool girls who I enjoyed their company, but I was no longer sexually attracted, right? So that's what I would do in that situation. I would just be friends with them. And those friendships have lasted much longer than situations when I was younger and more timid, when girls would friend zone me. So I do think those are a lot more durable, because I think that when the girl friend zones the guy's like the whole time he's just like pining after her.
Yeah.
Versus when the guy friend zones the girl just accepts and she's like, yeah, okay, we're just friends then.
Yeah. Honestly. Yeah, I see that. I feel like guys handle rejection a lot worse than girls.
Yeah,
maybe.
probably on average, although I've seen some girls handle rejection poorly.
Yeah.
But yeah, on average, guys like definitely do not handle rejection well.
Yeah, they be killing people and shit.
Like the most, like not most guys, for the record, will kill people when they
Well.
get rejected. Like I've been rejected a lot. I haven't killed
I'm
anybody.
good.
Yeah, my
Great.
kill count is 0.
Bare minimum. I'm so
Bare-
proud.
Bare minimum. It's 1 and under. There was this one guy in Philippines, but we don't talk about that.
Oh, our secret.
Yeah. Is there any questions on this before I move on to the next topic?
No.
All right. Cool. So, okay. This is
Oh yeah,
There's
there's
one.
one.
okay. Let's take it.
Does dating become hard for Guste because dating isn't politically correct? Women like taller, cool, more dominant guys usually. So you're already tall. So will it be difficult for you because it's not?
Okay,
Yeah,
I kind of
is
see
it
where this
politically
question's
correct?
going. I would say
It's
dating
like a
is.
2-part question.
I would say, yeah, I think dating is a little difficult for me, number one, because I'm very like, I hate using the word fucking alpha. It just really makes me want to yak. But like, I'm a very dominant woman. So for a man to be more dominant than I already am and like very secure in himself and secure as much as I am, it's honestly, I'm not going to lie, it's been pretty hard to find a guy like that. And yeah, I mean, sure, I guess height does play a factor. Like, I would prefer to be like for a guy to be taller than me, but like that's not necessarily a deal breaker. Like, I've definitely hooked up with guys who have been very shorter than I have been. So
Interesting.
yeah,
How tall are you?
5'9".
Damn. Why don't you just work on being a little shorter? Come on.
Fuck yeah, maybe that'll fuck it. But
Okay.
yeah.
Interesting.
We have one more question.
Go
Will you
ahead.
be continue doing YouTube videos?
Yes, I've just been so occupied and busy. I just hadn't had the motivation to do it. If anyone wants to work for me for free and like do the tech shit, then we can definitely move along way faster. So hit me up.
Of course, you're going to be friend zone though.
Yes, you most likely.
Most likely. There's a chance. There's a chance.
There's a chance.
Just be taller than her and be more dominant. Yeah.
Yeah.
So do you want the guy who's more dominant than you, or would you be okay with like a little like
Yeah, no, I definitely want a guy who's like more
assertive?
Yeah, you
Yeah.
know, like I'm already like that myself. I need someone that can match that energy.
Mm.
Either match it or above.
Mm.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like less than 5% of the dating pool.
Yeah, so you know, it is what it is. I'll be happily single. I will not settle for just because I can settle. I'm a lot happier alone than with some fucking guy who's probably insecure and like, don't wear that out, like, oh, you know.
Fair enough. Do we have any other questions? See, Nitson shaking his head.
No.
Okay, so I do have. Oh, actually, there's 2 things. So flaking. This is something that drives men crazy, including myself to some small extent. Actually, a medium extent. So, yeah, and I know that women get flaked on too. Believe me,
I'm so sorry.
I've heard the lectures. I know that women, but I do think that
Men get flaked on way more, and it's because girls don't know how to say no.
What would you say your flake rate is? Like if you if
You're putting me on the spot.
if you set up a date with 10 guys, how many of them will fight?
Shit. Okay. I set up a date with 10 guys.
Which percentage of them will fight?
I'd probably only go on a date with 2 or 3 of them.
But would it be because you decide that you don't want to go with other ones, or because the 7 or 8 flake?
Oh, I don't want to go.
Okay, but what percentage of the guys will actually be the ones that flake themselves?
Oh, 1%.
Yeah, exactly. You barely get flaked on. Okay.
Yeah, no, I have been flaked on, but it's not
common.
near as common as how much I do it to others.
Yeah. I know for me, like the flake rate is like, it is insane. I feel like it almost gets worse every year. Like I just remember like 2017, 2016 just wasn't that bad. It was like 50, 60%, 2015, 2016. Now it's like 90, 95%. It is insane. The only exception is if it's like a value loaded proposition. When I say value loaded, I mean like if
we're going to Nobu or like some like
no.
Oh,
Like
okay.
I mean more like that could be one potentially, but I mean more like the girl follows my YouTube videos and she's already like a fan.
Already interested.
Yeah, and there's
Cool,
like
cool,
she
yeah.
thinks I'm like a cool celebrity, which I'm not, but in her mind I am, right? Because I have 70,000 YouTube subs. So in those, it's pretty solid. But just random dating app, it's poor. If I meet a girl in real life, it's better, but still fairly poor.
Really? I think the chances in real life are way like
No, they go up, but I think they're still fairly poor. It's below. It's still above like 60-70%.
Yeah, I think this is just my opinion. I think that issue stems because a lot of women don't know how to say no, and they're just trying to be nice and like not hurt anyone's feelings. So they're like, yeah, like, well, I'll go on a date, and then like the date comes and like, fuck, I really don't want to go. Like I don't want to go. I have no interest. Like I just found better plans. Number one, like, and then they flake last minute.
Yes, I do think that's part of it.
I'm working on that myself personally. I'm working on saying no and just being straight up and be like, I'm not interested.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Aside from that, what would be where I was going with this question? What would be some other things, some reasons that would make you flake? What are some reasons why you've historically flaked on these poor Miami boys?
Sometimes it's actually genuine. Like sometimes there'll be times where like I find really dope plans that I don't want to miss, and like even though I already made this obligation, I'm like, this is kind of really more important than going on this date. And then I'll ask to like reschedule. I'll be like, hey, listen, like super sorry, but like this came up, I have to go. Like let's do tomorrow. Let's do la la la. If I'm the one rescheduling and telling you like next Tuesday, you have my word that I'll be there. But if I say I'll let you know, that's it. Like that's your flag that she's not gonna go.
But so let me clarify on that. What would differentiate between you saying like proposing alternative plans and you saying I'll let you know? What makes that distinction?
How interested I am in the guy. Like if I genuinely want to go on a date and see this guy, I will make sure to reschedule. I will make sure to apologize and be like, I'm really sorry. Like let's do next Tuesday, 8 p.m. Like same, whatever. If it's like a guy, I'm like, I made a mistake by saying yes. Let me just throw this off. I'll just be like, hey, sorry, really busy. Like I'll let you know next time I'm free.
What makes you genuinely interested in a guy?
Physical attraction is very important. Aside from, because that's very surface level. Like,
Right.
I don't know this person, so obviously the first thing I'm going to go off of is their like physical attraction. I'll probably like stalk their Instagram, see what kind of information I could find, like what are their interests, whatever, or like if they're just an interesting person. Like for me, intelligence is so important. I want a guy to be as intellectually capable as I am or above my level. You know, like if I'm bringing up topics and like you can't really seem to conversate what I'm talking about, then like it's just a turn off for me. So for me,
but how do you determine intelligence without going on a date? It's kind of hard to determine that over text.
Yeah, well, I mean, the way like a guy, I think you can definitely determine over text. Like a guy will ask me certain questions. Like he'll ask me like intriguing questions that I want to answer. I'm like, oh, this is a fun question to answer. Like I love questions. I love when people ask me things.
What are some examples of intriguing questions like that?
Just like send me like, I don't know, you come across like a post on Instagram that you think is like controversial or interesting. You're like, oh, like what's your take on this? Like, what do you think about this? Like ask me my opinion on topics. I don't know. Or like even as simple as like him going to the mall and being like, what pair of pants do you think is better? Or what pair of pants do you like? I'm like, oh, like, you know, he cares about my opinion. He values my opinion. That kind of thing. Not just the surface level. Where are you from? what do you do? What do you like?
Right,
you know,
right.
like
The
it has to
boring
be like
cliche
more, like
questions.
some more, yeah, more intriguing, like more spice. Like, don't be afraid to ask me like kind of like, you know, not invasive, but like
When was the last time you had a colonoscopy?
honestly, and the thing is, I'm so open. Like, if a guy asked me some fucking weird ass question like that, I'd be straight up. I'd be like, I have no problem answering this. I love those kinds of questions. Personally, that's just me though. I don't know about other girls, so don't take that advice. But just ask interesting questions. Like, you know, be interesting, be different.
Do you have any other examples of like interesting questions in the past that you've been asked?
Damn, on the top of my head, no, not really. Just like my opinions on things. I like topics that stimulate the brain, like things that are going on in the world right now, current events, like that kind of thing. Like that really, like, I don't know, it's interesting to me. Like space. Period. What do you think about space? Like, that's a good fucking question.
Aliens?
Oh my god. If you don't believe in aliens, like you're tossed. Like you just have to be fucking stupid. I'm sorry. Like you don't believe that life is not existent anywhere but Earth. That's just kind of
Yeah. There's the whole. Have you ever heard of the great filter theory?
the gray filter.
The great filter.
Great filter?
Yeah, great
No.
filter.
What is that?
I'll explain offline.
All right,
Yeah, let's go.
We're gonna go on a tangent here.
I'm also I watch a lot of like Alien and
Me
shit.
too.
Yeah.
At like the age of 13, 14, I was having fucking nightmares of being abducted by aliens because I was watching the most horrific shit.
Damn.
Yeah.
Do you have any questions on this?
Yes. Why do you try to? I'm trying to do my best in MP. How do you maintain a friends with benefits relationship?
I would not know because I don't fuck with friends with benefits at all. Just because I saw this thing. Men fall in love through like emotional like connection or some whatever. Women fall in love through sex because there's a certain chemical that starts with an O. Oxytocin. Yes. Oxytocin releases through a woman's body when they're having sex. That's not the same for men. So women have this connection with this guy they have sex with. So immediately after I have sex with someone, like I can't just be friends with that person. I'm obviously interested a lot more than just friends. And if it's just friends, I wouldn't put myself in a position to get my feelings hurt like that.
Okay.
Which I have though. I definitely fucked up many times. But
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, I think people are wired differently. Some people are pretty good at separating those
yeah,
things.
like if you can do like go off, but like that's just I don't have any advice because that's just not me.
Okay.
What about you, Alex?
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm different. I can definitely separate those two things very easily. Men do release oxytocin though, but not as much as women do, I believe.
Okay, cool.
If my literature is correct.
Fair.
All right, let me bring up the last topic.
I can definitely separate that. I can definitely do friends with benefits.
Yeah, she's pretty good
Period.
at that.
Yeah, and some girls are different. Like that's honestly just me.
Yeah, I do think that it's important to recognize that people wire differently. I was doing this video is going to be coming out tomorrow. I was doing a response video to Jordan Peterson. You know Jordan, right?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
I know of him.
Yeah. He was doing a video. He was talking about the emptiness of the hookup culture, and he was saying how like it makes you basically like a psychopath. Like, and I was like just critiquing that. I was like, no, like people are wired differently. Some people are really good at separating sex from emotions. Some people are really bad at that, and they can't. Those two things are tied into them. And even guys, I have a male friend, one of my closest friends. He does not really do casual sex. Like if he fucks a girl, he's gonna date her. So
everyone's different. I just think sex is such an intimate thing. Like you shouldn't be having sex with someone that's like a bad person just because like you like sex is an exchange of energy. So like if you're fucking a bad person, like you're gonna get some bad juju up in here. So be careful with the people you're fucking.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely fucked some bad people.
And then you feel like a kind of shit.
Only if they were like physically unattractive, and then I'm like, fuck, what am I doing with my
I
life?
don't think that will make them
Yeah, I was like,
No,
they're
just
not a
them.
bad person.
Yeah,
but...
just them being.
No, I know. I mean,
I
I banged some like super attractive girls that were like bad people. I banged some unattractive girls that were great people. Yeah, I think again, it just depends on how you're wired. Let me ask you this quick question: were you like raised in a more conservative setting? Like, did you? I know Lithuanians are big on like church and whatnot. Was that like a thing in your childhood, or?
I wouldn't say conservative. My mom was Catholic. She was always like, praise
Catholic.
Jesus and God. And I was like, fuck you, Jesus isn't real. Like, I don't believe in
Okay.
God. Like, I was always that person that was like, nah, you're wrong. Like, wow. But no, I don't think the way I was raised really affected like anything sexual or like relationship wise, other than like her being with a fucked up man for like 11 years. But
Okay. Fair enough. Any other questions?
Yes.
I love it. Keep them coming.
Has Guste ever been with a guy not stereotypically attractive? If so, what won her around?
Non-stereotypically attractive, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
not.
Does hookup mean like going all the way, like sex, or like hookup just like kissing? Because I kiss some ugly ass motherfuckers.
let's,
Being with the guy hasn't hooked up yet.
yeah, let's assume going all the way.
Okay.
Or like even date.
I'm sorry, but no. I mean, why am I gonna fuck someone that I don't find attractive?
What about the shorter guys that you mentioned?
They were hot.
Oh, okay.
They might be 5'6", but damn, they were good looking. So
Okay.
yeah. But then again, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. So what I find attractive is not necessarily like what my sister finds attractive. Like my sister could definitely say I fucked some questionable guys, but in my eyes, I'm like, they're sexy. So, you know.
Does your sister look like you?
Our relationship's complicated. She's my ex-stepsister, but like the shitty guy that was dating my mom for 11 years, that's his daughter. So
okay.
yeah. So I just call her my sister because we grew up for like 16 years together.
Okay.
But no, she doesn't look like me. She has brown hair, brown eyes. She's like a Kim K vibe.
Okay.
Like thick.
I can get
I'm like
that.
the complete opposite.
Yeah,
I'm like
yeah.
stick.
Yeah.
She's thick, I'm stick.
Do you prefer looks or game?
It's such an impossible question.
It really is an impossible question. I'm telling you, game, like obviously for sure. Like if a guy's like able to like make me interested, even though he's not that good looking, I just find him that more like attractive. It's almost like seeing a really ugly like pet and you're like, oh, it's so ugly that it's cute. You know? I don't know. That probably didn't make any sense. But I have to be physically attracted in order to do anything with you, period. Like unless I'm really fucked up.
Okay, so let's say let's put it differently. Let's say you saw the guy and you know that guy is attractive like you.
And he has no game.
Yes.
Fair.
Okay.
No.
No, absolutely. So, but then you see a guy, you don't find him like that attractive, but he has game. Would you like give him a chance? Would you go on a date? So there you go.
Yes.
Okay. That's how you answer. Yeah.
Fair. But he can't be like not attractive whatsoever. Like,
And he better buy me 2 drinks.
At least. Shit.
Because you ugly motherfucker.
Yeah, you gotta make up for it somehow. Come on.
Yeah.
Exactly. And then Uber me home.
And then and then valet my car around and
exactly. And then no boot
clean
next
it.
night, you know, come on.
I'm gonna go to the bathroom. You might want to go ahead and clean my car. Just wash it, spit
The
shine.
fucking least you could do, Jesus.
Because you ugly.
We have one more question.
Okay.
This is a question that I would like Alex's input to.
Ooh.
Do you think in general women use cheating as a way to get out of a relationship compared to men? I would like Alex to go first and then Guste, because I want to see like the difference.
I think we would actually probably, me and Guste will agree on this. I mean, we'll find out when we both answer. But I think sometimes maybe, but not the majority of the time. I think that, and I've talked about cheating a lot. First of all, I think both men and women cheat. I don't think it's like a problem with one sex or another. But there's various reasons why people cheat. One of the reasons is because their needs are not being met. So, for example, for a woman, maybe her sexual needs are not being met. Maybe she likes the guy, she enjoys his company, but he's not able to meet her sexual needs. She's into like some kinky BDSM shit, and the guy wants to have vanilla sex. Or more commonly, her emotional needs are not being met. So the guy fucks her really well, but he's not there for her. He doesn't listen to her. So she feels neglected, right? That was one of the reasons why one of my exes cheated on her then husband, right? Because he emotionally neglected her. So that could be a reason. Number three is going to be resentment. So there's resentment in the relationship. So let's say the guy cheats on the girl, and she forgives him, but she doesn't forget. There's still that resentment, right? Most of the time. and that resentment can cause people to do a lot of shit. So yeah, I think people cheat for a variety of reasons, and I think the fourth reason people cheat is because they have low self-esteem and they are self-sabotaging. So things are going too well, and these are the partners you want to avoid because you're not going to change them uh, unless they do the work on themselves. So if someone has low self-esteem and is going to self-sabotage themselves, one of the ways they could do that is with cheating. Like, oh, things are going too well, and then their subconscious takes over because we are heavily dominated by our subconscious, and it forces them to cheat. And they're like, I don't even know why I did this, but I just self-sabotage this thing that was going great. So yeah, I think cheating really can come from a number of things.
Damn, well, he said that fucking perfectly. I mean, I definitely agree. There's reasons why people cheat, and I think honestly, I think the biggest one is like insecurity and like to inflate their ego because I don't know. Cheating is wrong, period. Like if you're not getting your emotional needs or your sexual needs met by your partner, then don't cheat. Just fucking break up with them and then go fuck someone. Like there's no need to go get that somewhere else if you can't get all of that in one place. If you can't get all that in one place, then there's no need to be with this person. So if you find yourself cheating, just take a step back, break up with your partner, because clearly you're something ain't right, whether that's within you or them. Like there's no reason. There's absolutely no reason for cheating.
Yeah, cheating is fucked up, but it does happen extremely often.
Way too often.
So
Jesus
often.
Christ.
All the
That's
time.
my number one thing in like a person that is so rare to find is loyalty. Even with friends, like loyalty is so fucking hard to find nowadays. It's actually like ridiculous.
It truly is, especially in Miami.
Yeah, especially here.
It's not like that in like Europe or other places.
I don't know.
Do you have any last questions before I move on to the last topic?
The second part of this is he says they do seem, women, to be more afraid to say what's on their mind and what they want, in my experience. Do you think that women are more afraid to speak up than men?
I think it's vice versa. I think women are very in tune with their emotions and they're able to articulate what they need and what they want versus men who sometimes, I mean, the way society like treats men is like, oh, like if you cry, you're a girl, like men society constantly tells men to suppress these emotions. So I feel like it's a lot harder for men to come to terms with how they feel and like voicing that. But that's just me. That's my opinion. I'm not a man. I can't speak for men. So
I think both. I don't know which one which one is worse at communicating. I think, but I don't think women are more inclined to not speak up. I think there's a lot of men who are in horrible relationships who never speak up. So I would disagree with the premise that women are less inclined to speak up. I just don't know which one is like less likely. I would need to see like some data on that, which I don't have. So yeah, but I don't think it's like women never speak up, men are always good at speaking up. No, a lot of men are horrible at speaking up and they put up with like abuse and all that shit. Maybe not physical abuse, but emotional abuse for sure. Yeah. I mean, I think that like the thing that's a little shitty is that like a woman can only do so much damage physically to a guy. Like
yeah,
look at my girlfriend, she's tiny. Like, what's she gonna do?
Literally,
versus like a guy could do a lot of physical damage to a girl. So emotionally, we can both fuck each other over, but physically, only one of us has the potential to really hurt the other one. Unless you're dating like Ronda Rousey or something like that, someone who can put you in a fucking chokehold, and like I would not want to fight her. She's quite tough. Okay. So let me move on to the last thing. And this was one of the disagreements I had with one of the things you said. And I don't know if you still feel this way or you were just being a little poetic for theatrical purposes.
Oh, God.
But I'm going to quote you here. I might get a few words wrong, but I think I get the general message right.
I'm scared.
Nah, that's not going to be anything that bad. Guste used to poop in her dad.
Fuck, not this question.
It's out. Fresh and fit entire audience is little boys and incels with no social skills. I feel that would be equivalent to me saying, okay, so wait. Fresh and fit entire audience is little boys and incels with no social skills. So my take on that was there's an element of truth there.
Yeah, there is an element of truth.
There's an element
not completely true. Obviously,
there's an element of truth. There are incels and bitter men. I don't think that's the majority of their audience. I think that kind of my take on why Fresh and Fit rose up is I think that because I've been trying to understand. I'm like, I make way better fucking content. Why did they like their growth has been insane? Like it's truly been like
Because they have girls on the show. If they didn't have girls on the show, look at the videos where it's just those two morons talking and it's like 20K, maybe 50K. As soon as they put a girl on there, 200K, 300K. If they didn't have girls on the show, their show would be shit.
yes to some extent, but we also have girls in our show. I don't know if it's just that. I think a big part is a lot of men nowadays are just like lost. Like a lot of men didn't have like positive role models growing up and they're just super lost and they're a little frustrated and they don't know what to turn to. And then they see Fresh and Fit saying like, hey, it's not your fault. It's society or it's women. And that's a very appealing message. It's much more appealing than my message. My message is like, okay, well, you're gonna have to do this, this, and this, and this, and this, and this. Whoa, like it's gonna take me fucking forever. It's a
Yeah,
lot of
growth
work.
is so scary. Like I'd rather just get the easy way than work on myself.
Yeah, it's so much easier to blame. I mean, Hitler was
Yeah.
really good at doing it with my people. He's like, guys. It wasn't because we lost World War One and we overreached and now we're getting penalized and we're facing an economic downturn. It's the Jews.
Exactly.
And that's like a way better message.
Finding someone to blame is so much easier than taking accountability.
Exactly. That's a much more appealing message. Like
Yeah.
we always want the easiest thing, and that's a message that sells, and that's a message that's popular. And I do think that there's a lot of impressionable guys who I think probably mean well. I don't think they're like incels or like resentful. I think they mean well, or at least they start off meaning well. But like that message just spoke to some core that wasn't there. This core need that wasn't being met, and like now maybe they're going down the rabbit hole a little bit. That's why I try to do my content to give them that counter perspective. But yeah, that's kind of my take on that. What do you think?
I totally agree with you. What I'm thinking though is like in order to attract that like where they're like blame women, the only people that are going to be like, ah, yes, this seems like a message that resonates with me, like are going to be those people that are spiteful and have some sort of like resentment towards women because either their mom was a piece of shit, their girlfriend was a piece of shit, their sister, like blah, blah, blah. Personally, that's my opinion. Like you can only resonate with a message if it personally has touched you or someone you know in some sort of way. Like that's why we're passionate about certain topics, is because we have personal experience in them. So I think that these people find that message appealing because you're totally right. That's exactly why their channel is so popular, is because it's easier to blame and point fingers to be like, oh, let me look inwards and do some introspection. So fair, I agree with you. I still do think that the majority of those men that are watching their content are just hateful, spiteful little boys.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it starts off with most of the time. Sometimes it does, but I don't think most of the time it starts off with blame women. I think it starts off much more innocently.
Yeah,
It starts
they're
off.
impressionable. They're
It
young.
starts off with them looking up something like like okay, let's take the story of the. Are you familiar with the story of the Fresh and Fit Stan guy? The guy that DM'd nasty shit to, I forget her name, Anna Quinn.
Oh my God, that poor woman.
Yes.
Yes.
So that guy DM'd some nasty shit to her, and he came on a podcast. They're asking like, why do you do that? Like, why? And they were like going down the rabbit hole, and they're like, how do you even start off following Fresh and Fit? And his story, I think is probably a story that a lot of people share. He's like, well, honestly, he's like, I was, I graduated from college or something like that. I was living at home with my parents. I was broke. I was depressed. Had nothing going for me. And my cousin was like, yeah, you should check out this podcast. They talk about credit cards and whatnot. They give financial advice. So I started watching the podcast, mainly for financial things, right? And then, I was like, oh, they make some good points. I opened up these credit cards. I closed out my debt. My financial situation became better. So then they kind of gained some esteem in my mind. And then he just went down the rabbit hole. And before he knows it, he's DMing chicks saying, fuck you, bitch, right? Or saying like nasty shit. But that's a guy who started off not really being there, and he just went down the rabbit hole.
Fair.
And I think that's what happens a lot.
I agree with you completely then. No, yeah, you're totally right. I mean, like he saw that, oh, like what they're saying is working with my credit cards. Like what they're saying with women has to be true since it's working with my credit cards. And then they go down that path.
I think the best lies are covered in small truths.
Yes, that's exactly how you get people, is like you give them a huge lie and then you put a bunch of little truth and it's like, oh, I'll believe it. Like, I believe some questionable shit because there was a little bit of truth in it. So
what's the most questionable shit you believed?
God, I don't even want. I'm like embarrassed to like talk about this. Oh my God, there was a documentary that came out. It was called like The Fall of Cabal or some fucking shit, and it was about Trump being a good person and like saving the fucking world and like saving these because the truth that was in this documentary was that child trafficking is real and that the elites, celebrities, people are partaking in this thing like Jeffrey Epstein's island, and you can see the flight logs of these celebrities who are going there and participating in this gross thing. So like I believe that, and then they just kind of brought in like Trump somehow, and it was like Trump is actually gonna save us by like doing this and doing that, and this whole time he's been helping the children. And I was like, oh my God, like how could I be so like rude to Trump? Like he's such a good person. Like, but you know, that only lasted for a couple months. I was luckily able to come out of that rabbit hole that I dug myself into.
Yeah, the QAnon believes that Trump is secretly fighting
that's
child pedophiles.
That's what I'm saying. I got into that QAnon shit, and like for a solid month, I was really believing it because of that little truth and stuff. And then eventually, I was like, "This isn't right. Like, there's no way this is true."
Well, if it makes you feel better, when I was younger, I used to believe in religion. Embarrassing.
Got your ass. The one thing I will say that is beneficial about religion is praying. When you like pray and like ask for things, you will receive.
Yes. There are definitely people who are religious are on average happier than people who are not religious. There are definitely some
faith, you know,
some fringe benefits. Yes.
Agreed.
I wish I could actually be religious, because
read those books. It's not about religion, but like it'll make you believe in like something bigger, like higher, like the universe.
All right. We'll check it out. Do we have any closing questions?
Yes. Guste, what do you think about guys who use escort as opposed to regular girls?
Escorts?
Yes.
That's like what?
Prostitutes.
Like prostitutes? I don't know. Like if that's what you want to do, like go off. Just be like careful with like STDs and stuff. Like wear protection. No judgment. Like you do you.
Alex, what's your take?
If it's once in a blue moon, it's fine, but I think it can be a slippery slope, and you don't want to be the guy that's like fucking a prostitute every weekend. Yeah, that's just a slippery slope, and I think it can do bad things for your self-esteem if you're constantly fucking prostitutes. But if you're like once in a while, you're on vacation, that's a different story. Just make sure she doesn't have a penis and she's over 18.
Fair? Yeah.
She has a penis, you can sword fight.
Yeah.
Hey, whatever floats your boat, man. Some people are into that. No judgment.
You have any other questions?
This is, I mean, I'm gonna paraphrase it. Would you ever be like, he wants to know, would you ever share a guy with another girl? If you're really attracted to a man.
Are you kidding? Oh my God, I'd be such a jealous bitch. No, there's no way. There's no way. I mean, some people do that. Like if you're polygamous, what is it?
Polyamorous.
Polygamous.
Yes. Okay, I said it right. You do that, but like I'm monogamous. I'm not. No, I don't share. Sorry.
He wants you to share.
It's like fuck.
It's like, oh.
Any last ones? I gotta take a piss wicked bad, so I'm just deciding if I should.
Like a threesome chilling, but like no like permanent like you're living in the same house as me and my man's.
Polyamorous.
Polyamorous. Thank you. I was really struggling with that word.
Not much.
Not much, to be honest.
Alrighty. Well, I think
so. I'm gonna close with this one. Why is your dog so cute?
That's the $1 million question.
This is true.
Excellent genetics plus a regular dose of love and a fancy meal prep delivery system where he eats organic.
Oh, he's bougie or whatever.
And a bit of purple nurples and wet willies and whatnot.
Oh God.
A bit of torture, but you know we do it with love.
Only on Tuesdays.
Only on Torture Tuesdays. All right, guys. Thank you for tuning in. Guste, is there any you want to plug your channel or your Instagram or anything?
Sure. My channel is Guste Janus. My Instagram is Guste Janus. So follow me.
I definitely want to see you do more debates.
I would, yeah, no, that's fun. I do enjoy that.
Yeah.
Find a topic that we don't agree on.
Yeah, I mean, it's like we disagree on small things. I don't think there's like
A general, yeah.
I don't think there's a
feel you.
significant debate. There's a few. There's one there might be a significant debate. I just don't want to do that one on YouTube, but I'll explain later why.
Ooh, I know already what you're talking about.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
feel like I'm gonna agree with you regardless.
That one, I don't think so.
Okay, fair. We'll talk about it off camera then.
But yeah, so yeah, but no, but I think it would be better if you like debated. I actually thought you and I would disagree on more shit. I thought this would be more debate. But no, that's good. I mean, I do think you should. It would be interesting if you debate like Rolo or Donovan again.
The thing is, like, people have been telling me not to, and I see why, and it's because
Why?
it brings negative. The only reason my channel is doing well with like a video has like 60K views or whatever, like the only reason I have 2,000 subscribers is it's all hate. I don't have a fan base that is like watching me because they like what I'm saying. I have a fan base because they hate what I'm saying. Like I don't need, like, it's just.
But that can turn around.
It could, and that's the thing.
Content.
That's why I stopped. I'm like, I need to find a way to turn this around because I don't need my audience. Like when I'm looking at comments and stuff, like sure, like I can take hate. Like I'm like very strong-minded, but like I can only take so much. Like when it's like 900 fucking comments, like calling me names and shit, like I don't want to do it anymore. You know.
Take a look at Courtney Ryan. You're familiar with her?
No.
Okay, she's pretty successful female YouTuber. More successful than me, but yeah, like.
I'll take a look then.
Yeah,
I need like an account to like go off of because this.
Yeah, she's a great one.
Yeah, but
I like and respect her a lot. All right, guys, thanks for tuning in. We got another live stream on Friday. We're gonna do a panel of girls as always. Rhaegar will be joining, being cute as always. Make sure you smash that subscribe button. We also just hit 100K on TikTok, so check us out on there. We got good stuff on there as well. Thank you guys, and until next time.